Hello, welcome, and happy holidays, everyone. In this video, we're going to launch a project that is, in my Foundations course, the 5th project of the year, and it is going to be our first freelance without an accompanying walkthrough. And it's going to have a holiday theme behind it, and we're calling this Holiday Design. However, another theme is even more important and was the inspiration behind this project, and that is this website and this project, CSS Zen Garden. And now, CSS Zen Garden was developed by David Shea, and just to read a brief part about what this is about. This is meant, or David Shea's project was meant to show the power of CSS, and it aims to excite, inspire, and encourage participation. So, to begin, view some of the existing designs in the list. Clicking on any one will load the style sheet into this very page. David's HTML remains the same. The only thing that has changed is the external file for CSS. So, if you take a look at the content here, this content and the HTML file, which you could download right here, is identical. However, the CSS files, if I come over to, for example, Steel, this is the exact same HTML content with a different style sheet. Or Fountain Kiss, same HTML, different style sheet. So the power and beauty of CSS is displayed by David Shea here in the CSS Zen Garden. So this was our inspiration. However, we're going to tweak this a little bit. I've gone back to a resource from the Travel Channel and an article, a blog article, 20 holiday traditions around the world. Also, Babel Magazine, 11 wacky holiday traditions around the world. And finally, Little Passports and 17 holidays around the world. So these are the resources from which I retrieved text. And let's just take a quick look at what that text is. So this is the GitHub repository for the project. And what we have here is 3 markdown files, the README, project specs, and a utility git Linux commands markdown. So this has been now tradition or customary for my students to receive. And we'll go over the project specs mainly in the classroom. We will take a quick glance at them. But the gist of this is to celebrate holiday traditions around the globe with HTML, CSS front-end design freelance project, taking inspiration from CSS Zen Garden. So, where are we going to get the text? Well, if we open up this Choose 3 folder, we have over 30 different references to short text. For example, beach party in Australia. If we open that up, this explains how in the southern hemisphere the winter holidays fall during the summer, so Australian temperatures get as warm as 84 degrees, and basically the Christmas holiday is celebrated with a beach party. So that's coming from Babel Magazine. That's one of over 30 different sources that you can choose from. My students, the project incorporates you selecting only 3 of these. And from there, the only difference from the CSS Zen Garden project is your task will be to choose not only the CSS style of your choosing and creativity, but also structure the HTML as you see fit. So this is a 1-page project, so let's just quickly take a look at the project specs markdown file first of all. And here we go. So under creativity, the primary purpose of the freelance project is to take what we've learned in the related walkthroughs and make it your own. In this project, choose the text of exactly 3 holiday celebrations from the markdown files. Use the image gallery and Aladdin student portfolio walkthroughs as models to create your own original holiday design CSS and HTML Zen static website. This is a 1-pager only, so no need for a navigation menu. And you're going to establish your own HTML structure and CSS styles following the guidelines and general specs below. So this is no walkthrough. You are on your own to be as creative as you possibly can, following the general specs, admin and time and management, and so on. So I hope you enjoy this project. Let's get into the second half of this video, which is going to be the administrative part. And what does that mean? Well, as always, my students will receive an invitation to or from GitHub Classroom to accept this assignment in the form of a repository. So that will either be in Google Classroom or in Schoology. And once you have that link, you just select it, come on over to GitHub Classroom, accept the assignment. And again, this is something that we have done all along before. And once you've accepted that, in another tab, head on over to your GitHub repository, open up the organization for our class, and find the repository that you just copied down. So here is my copy of that repository. So we are good to go as far as that. We should have the Choose 3 folder with over 30 different text holiday celebrations from which you choose 3. We have our Git Linux commands markdown, which provides the all-important steps to push your work up from AWS Cloud 9 to GitHub, but also some commonly used Linux commands. So that is at your fingertips. The README file, which has the description of the project, key concepts that we are going to be using. Our main resource mainly has been W3 Schools to this point. Additional project resources include the CSS Zen Garden inspiration, Font Awesome, the CDN for Font Awesome, CodePrint, Pix for Learning, and all of the ones that we have used in the past. Also important here is the reference to the intellectual property and copyright rules and requirements, and you are going to be bringing in your own images in this project, so make sure that you are complying with the intellectual property and copyright rules and requirements as we have spoken about, and worked with in the past projects. Okay, so that is our README, and finally our project specs markdown has all of the requirements with the related rubric. Okay, so at this point now, I'm going to pause the video and let's fire up our AWS Cloud 9 integrated development environment, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back and we've got Cloud 9 fired up in our Chromebooks or whatever device you're using. Okay, what we want to do now is make sure that we get access to that terminal. So I'm going to slide this up just a little bit. And the work we're going to need, make sure that you are in the environment folder or the root folder. So remember, if you need to go up a level, it's CD space and then EN tab for environment. If you're just at the Volks Lab colon, which is rare, but if you are in a project, then you want to type in change directory space ... Those are the Linux commands. Hit enter or return, and that will bring us back or up one level to the root directory. That's where we need to be. Okay, let's head on back to our GitHub repository for our holiday design. Select the main link to bring us back to the main page, and we want to go to that green code button here. Pull that down, and we want the clone features. And again, of the 3 clone features, we have always used HTTPS. So let's select that copy toggle and put the link in our clipboard and head on back to our Cloud 9. And again, as you probably already know, we are going to run git, if I spell it right, git. That's the technology we want to access in Linux. Well, not Linux technology, but Git technology. And the Git command that we want is clone. So git clone and then paste. And we're pasting the URL of the newly created assignment from GitHub Classroom. Hit enter, and that should copy that down. Now remember, if by any chance you do need or get prompted for your username, type in your username, and recall, do not type in a password. You want to go and get a personal access token. So remember, you come over to your GitHub main page, if you need to do this, and go down to settings. From settings, you want to go to the left-hand side to developer settings, and you want to choose that last one, personal access token, and we want the classic version. Once you have that, you want to generate a new token, again, classic. Type in your password. And type it in correctly. I think I went, nope. Oh, I see what I did here. I'm mixing up two passwords here. There we go. There we go. And now you could just put in holiday design. This is just for you. 30 days, 90 days, however many, but the most important thing that remember with a personal access token is you select the repo toggle here. Come on all the way down and generate token. Once you have that, that's what you want to copy in for your password. So that will copy everything down. But again, from what you can see on my screen, if you're matching me, it has established that connection between your GitHub account and your Cloud9 environment. So this was not necessary here. So let me type in clear to clear my terminal, and I want to change directory into the holiday design project. Now, that might be the only folder beginning with H, so just tab for hotkeying that and hit enter. If we type a Linux command ls, we should see our choose 3 folder. And then with all over 30 markdown files about holiday celebrations, you're going to choose 3. And our other utility and reference and resource markdowns, get Linux command, project specs, and readme. Okay. Now, as you probably know, we are going to be using 2 more files here. So let's type in touch index.html and finally touch style.css. Type in a Linux command, and now we should see those files as well. And if we pull down on the left-hand side, pull down that folder for holiday design, we now see style.css, the 3 readmes, and index.html, and we're ready to go. Let's open up index in the, no, not down here. Let's pull this down. I want to open that up. So let me click somewhere in the editor, and I want to open up index.html here. All right, one final tip here. Remember, you could refer back to W3 Schools, and I suggest you do that for all of the references that we've done. You've got our projects to work back on as a reference. And one other hint here is the Emmet technology that allows us to hotkey into this. If you hit Shift 1 and Tab, that will put a boilerplate HTML skeleton right on our index.html. Hit save for that, and you are set to go. So don't forget to link your CSS, and it is now your time to shine with creativity for structure with HTML for your 3 holiday celebrations, and finally your CSS applications for style and so on. One last thing we want to do, let's head back to our holiday design GitHub repo one final time. Please select the repository settings menu right here. Pull that down, and we want to go to the left-hand side. We want to go to pages. Select pages. And we're going to set up the publishing of this right away. Please know this is not customary. This is just for a student project so that you have that website ready to go and you could check on your phone as you're going. But usually publishing happens after, in true development, everything is tested and designs are okayed and so on. But we're going to cut to the chase with that. We're going to come down to the branch selection and select main and save. Okay, so now give this about 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video, and a URL for GitHub pages for our published account will come up. and then we will do one other step. So let's pause and we'll wait for that to happen. Okay, welcome back. And now, as you can see on my screen, there is a new message here saying your site is live at the following page, HTTPS, and so on. So we have our organization.github.io and then the name of our repo. This, please note, is different from the actual repository URL that I have highlighted at the top of the screen. That URL gets us to the repo, but this one will get us to the actual web page, that static web page. So it is now published. Let's actually do one final step. Right click on that and copy link address, and let's bring it forward. So go to the front page of your repo and go into the About section. Select that Settings menu. Put your cursor right where it says Website, paste that there, and save changes. So now your repository should also have the website published. The publishing website location right in the front, so it's nice and handy for both you and your teacher to look at it. And don't forget, you could check that website at any time now going forward, whether it's on a phone, home screen, big jumbotron, whatever. All right, everybody, thank you for stopping by, getting this holiday design project up and running, and I look forward to seeing all of your creativity in the spirit of CSS Zen. Don't forget your HTML as well. Have a great time, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.